Okay, so you've edited your images, you put them together, bring them into Maya as image planes. I've done this already. There's a tutorial about creating image planes. You need to position them up. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to start to trace out some of the features here. So you really sort of look at this stage as you're sketching out your model. And what you're looking for apart from obviously the obvious features, is you're also kind of looking at the way that the light is reflecting on the skin, any shadows there might be, looking at those and trying to sort of trace out where you feel like the surface topology is going. So this way you're giving yourself something to work from when you start to actually create a polygon structure. So if we look at the forward photograph here, and a good place as any really is the eye. Gives you a sense that so I won't run through the whole process of this. I'll just do some bits, pause, and then show you what we're doing, because essentially the idea is you work fairly quickly. Use the either CV EP curve tool, but just linear. If you start creating curves, you start fighting with Maya's curves tools, and the temptation is that these are curved lines, but these are something guidelines that we can snap onto, and other than that, this is just purely a sketch. So I'll go to create EP curve tool, just go to the options, check it's on linear, zoom in as close as you want. Around these sort of areas around the eye, I always sort of find it better if we sort of click, create a little corner there. Now I'm not sure if I'm seeing my curves here, but I should check my settings in a minute. I'm just going to around the top of the eye share down here into, and I'm going to go on the inner piece of the flesh under the eye here. I hope this is working. Let's just see. No, unless my show NURBS curves is switched off, in which case it is working. And that was my hunch. Okay, so I'm just I've just traced this one out. Now, of course, I'm doing this in a 2D view. I need to place these lines in three-dimensional space. It's another reason for keeping them linear. And then if I move the points around, I'm not going to get any sort of weird bending of the lines here. So if I was going to a side view here and just zoom in on this curve, I now need to position this one. Now you can see straight away I need to just center the pivot point on my curve. It's one of the slightly annoying parts of this technique. But the eye's a little bit tricky here because I don't really have any sense of behind the eyeball here, then I don't really know where I'm going, so I have to sort of guesstimate a little bit. But I can see quite clearly on the corner of the eye here. So if I go into a 2 view here, so what I tend to do is I just hit one of the presets here and then just change this panel to say, what is it I want the front view there. And over here we'll have the side view, and then working like this makes your life a little bit easier to see what you're doing here. You might also, and this is actually something a lot of students do, is just put the outliner in a separate window down here, and I'm actually growing to like that. So anyway, now I can see both things. I can say, well, alright, I know this corner piece here, the corner vertex, I just choose Control Vertex. I know that this is going to be in the corner of the eye. In fact, I could probably say that 3 of those, or let's select all of those and then just pull them all back into the corner and just zoom in. The closer I can get this, the better. So just pull those right in, and then I could probably start to just pull these out a bit. And yeah, one needs to come in a bit more. And this way you're creating these these three-dimensional curves. Now to navigate along the curve to see where I'm drawing, if I use the arrow keys, so I just press the left arrow here, I'll go in the other direction. And sometimes it gets a bit strange, but as long as you can find your way. And just start to pull these over. Do the same at the top here. And then I'm going to sort of look, try and compare them, and I can see there's one sort of central there. I can say, okay, well that's the one that I would pull up. Maybe if your images are out, it's this, you probably see it here. If these two are not, I should pull these ones up a little bit. So you get the idea. You just positioning this, and if you're not sure, then just kind of, you can see the eye here. Maybe I'll go back to the back of the pupil, follow the line up here, maybe follow the line down here, and just trying to, maybe it's about sort of here. So you can just select some of these points and just start to pull these back. As I say, this is really just going to be a guideline. And then these just the same at the front here. Find one of these, probably these two together actually, are about the front of the eye. And just pull those out. Again, you might have a bit of a conflict. I think that's actually pretty okay there. And you can just start to move these points out. So I'll just sort that out, I'll pause it, and then we'll come back and okay, so I've put in some more lines here, quite a few actually. It's really entirely up to you how much you put in, but I've also put in a little sphere here to represent the eye, just to give myself some reference. I'll put that onto a layer in a minute, just lock it off. A lot of it is sort of guesswork. You don't want to do too much, otherwise you'll end up just confusing yourself with lots of lines. So the lines need to sort of, although it's a very sketchy approach, you've got to be careful you don't end up with lots of conflicting things on here. But I'm looking for this sort of basic structure of the cheekbone, the eye socket, around the nostril, the sort of basic shape of the mouth, the bottom of the cheek here. And I already have an idea of where I'm going to run my edge flows here. So this is pretty good to set up from. The only issues when I was doing this that were worth is you might, in a front view, if you're modelling lines at the back here, you may need to move the image plane back a bit. Other than that, it's really just drawing in one view and then moving the points back. And which I mentioned before, is just using your arrow keys to negotiate, and it depends on the line and the image you're in actually, but usually you can navigate along, and you can see here how you can compare the two things to essentially draw in 3D. So just looking for these little, just drawing circles over the surface wherever you see some sort of, like the highlight here, like I've done, I've just, although it's not a circle, it's going to be a flow around it, and these little clues as to the actual, you're looking for the structure here. Bearing in mind, we're using photographs, you're limited, hence why, a portrait painter would be working from someone actually sitting in front of them. But anyway, let's not go too deep into it. This is something to start off with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my perspective view here, and I'm just going to start off with this eye section here. Now I'm going to start off here, and I want to just have a nice polygon face coming out, and this will actually end up bridging across the nose, but the rest of it's going to be this little loop. So I can start off, I'm going to snap to some of the curves here. So usually I would use the C key, but I'm just going to leave it on. It makes life a little bit easier when I'm using the tools here. Just so then I can go to my, if I just shift left click, actually I won't be able to do that, I'll have to go to my polygons menu. and go and get my create polygon tool and just zoom in a little bit, and I'm just going to start from somewhere down here, click out to here, and then click back in again there, and then I can just hit enter to create the polygon here. Just going to wireframe. Now let's put this onto another layer. Just get rid of that one. I don't think I've got anything on this one. Let's just call it eye reference, because that's not actually going to be the end eye, but there is another tutorial for making eyes. Let's just add that one and then template it off. I reference it off actually, I think. Okay, so back to this one. I can shift click, say pen to polygon, click on the edge here. This is going to show me which way I have to click next. So here's the arrow, and then I can click up and then click over here, and I have this set in my settings to only allow me to create a four-sided shape, so it will automatically close off. I'll just show you that again. Under the settings here, it's just limited number of points to 4, and that means I can just click on the edge, click somewhere over here, click up here, and it will automatically close off the shape. Now what I'm looking for here, wasn't very well done, is trying to keep these as evenly as possible and also connected to the curve here. So let's just go back. So click on the edge. Now I find if this doesn't actually work, the snap curves, then the trick is to do what you do normally. It's just middle mouse button, click on that, and it's still not working. Now that is definitely clicking to that curve. We'll do it in a orthographic view, would probably be a sensible suggestion, right? And then click up there. So anyway, I'm trying to keep these as square as possible. What's going on here? Right, okay. It seems to be a bit temperamental. Let me just go, I'm going to do this into a front view. Let's see if that does any better here. So click on the edge, click up here, click over here, and now let's have a look in perspective, see whether that's still not. Is it this sphere that seems to be influencing my clicking here? Let's try something else. Right, click on the edge, hold down the C key, middle mouse button. No, that's not working, and that's the reason why I did this in the first place. So let me just pause. Okay, so the problem was that keep new faces planar was switched on, which meant that essentially I couldn't bend them. They were all going to run off straight, so that's why they were going off into the distance. So now my snap to curve is working, and you want to just make sure that they're kind of square like, so I can click through. It's up to you whether you do this in the kind of, and you don't want to overdo this. You want to be as minimalistic as you feel. So this is really the only thing in the end here is that I would like again to have click on that one, click down. Oh, I don't have a let's just click down here then, and then click over here, and I'll come and edit that back in. because I want to have this one should be right in there really. I could have just didn't do such a great job of that one. I could have just snapped it to the point there. We can also of course look into the side view here, which would help. So what do I want to do? That one wants to be, so this one, actual fact, I want it to be a little bit further down, and this one just underneath, just so I've got a face coming in on the end there. And maybe this one a little bit too stretched over. And the top one sort of stays pretty square like anyway, so I can probably bring it like so. And then back to my pen to polygon tool. So really here I just go through the same process. I click here. I'll click up to the lines. Actually, I should have another line underneath it, but it doesn't matter. And click down to the edge. And of course, and there we go, we just hit enter at the end there and it'll do it for us. So there I've created the shape. Now from here, there's lots of things I can do. I need to create an inner part here, the part for the bottom. This is what I would do with something like an inner extrude, or sorry, extrude edge. But if I just click on this, click on the scale, I can just shrink this down and use this for modelling the eye. And really what's going to happen here is I'm going to have geometry that goes over to here, so something like these two, maybe even these three, will come out over here, and I'm going to have a flow coming around the top. So let's think about, so if I could just quickly show you here, I mean we can create a nice new little piece of edge flow. Just select all this lot. I can just double click, although I don't actually want to select this part here. So select that one, say edge flow. Now it really depends on your normals here. I can actually probably just put it out. It's kind of nice. It keeps the flow, the geometry, even though I will need to change it. So then I can just pull out this new line and then start attaching this to what I think is the next little piece of edge flow around here. So I'll do a little bit more, I'll pause, do a little bit more, and we'll have a look. Okay, so I've extruded these edge loops out, and then I want to create new ones from here. Now I don't want to close them off here, I want to bring these across and these over the top of the nose. Probably the easiest way to do that is just simply select the edge and then do a extrude edge, and depending on, I'll do it in the world, and I can just drag these over and just place these points. I'm not going to worry about the divisions here at the moment, so if I just simply go into my split screen again, so let's just go into my side view, zoom out here, and have a look for these points. Let's click away, let's click on that vertex point there. just because it's behind my side image, maybe. Could well be that. Let's just bring it out. Let's just snap it to that line, and then I know I'm there. Right, okay. And this one, I'll just snap it to the grid line here. Again, I can see it again now, so not too important to get these right at this moment, but just so we know where we're working from. There we go. Something like that. That one didn't snap. Or it's snapping to something else. There we go. That's good. I just want to bring those over because eventually I'm going to fill in this hole, so that's right. Now I'm going to select these two edges here to bring these over the nose, and let's just extrude from this angle. I'm going to go into the world, and I'll just pull these out. I'm going to go into, and then I'm going to again just correct these points here, so let's just go back into shaded view. And my move tool, go to my vertex points, and I want to kind of bring this one up a little bit. I'm looking at the flow here as well as the line that I want to kind of keep the same direction going. And this one, I'll just start to straighten it up a little bit, so just to create the side of the nose there. Just go into the front view and check that as well, because undoubtedly they need to come across. So pull this one over. I'm trying to sort of see where the curvature is of the nose here. Let's go quite a bit like so. And then I select these two edges, go to my extrude world, bring these over. Let's go back into my side view and just bring these up to where mine. Okay, and then what we want to do is let's simply put in a little cut into this one here first of all. So let's go to object mode, and I'm going to say insert edge loop and kind of center that one. Then I will go to so it's edge again, I think that's what I want. So that edge, go to bridge, and well, let's be smart about this. 1, 2, 3 divisions, and I'm going to say bridge, smooth path, 3 divisions, hit apply. Not sure whether that's so great because we'll have to edit them anyway, but anyway, let's just put it back to its default here, close down, my default. And I've got 1, 2, 3, well actually I should have put in 2 divisions, that would have been 2 divisions. I'm going to undo that, go back, bridge, smooth path, 2 divisions, bridge, that's better, and I'd like to just simply say fill hole, then go and get my split poly tool and just close these off. Hit smooth, and it's looking okay as a beginning. There's no horrible creases or anything yet, so now we can start looking at the bottom of the face here. So I'm going to have this loop here that by the looks of my drawing is sort of going across the nose, top of the nose, nostril, down around, and then I've got one which kind of goes straight into it. So again, let's go back into what I can do is I can utilise what I've got, and I've got edges here, here and here, and here. And let's just go to extrude edge, just see what I'm extruding. I think I can extrude off the Y here would be, no, that's not going to let me do that. So let's just extrude downwards. Right, I've got a new line to work from, so I can start off in the side view, see where this line is supposed to be going, where I think it's going, and just move these vertex points around again, see if I can utilise them for, there's definitely something going on with the nose geometry here that I think this should be a little bit higher, and should probably need another cut in there. And okay, that one's coming in behind the nose. This should go forward a little bit. And this one should go forward a little bit. So there's that one. So that one, oh, I need to go into my front view, that's why I'm not, here we go. So this one should come over, this one should come over, that's more like it. Okay, then I'm going to just extrude off these two edges. Just say extrude edge, go into the weld and pull these down, and then just correct these vertex points up. Something like that. Again, I need to go into a side view to correct these. So let's go that side view, and they need to be pushed back a little bit. This one needs to come forward a little bit. Deal with this one in a minute. Right, then back to where the nostril is ultimately going to be, which is this line here. So let's see if we can do this with our friend the pentapolygon tool. So I'll just go to object mode first, pentapolygon, shift click pentapolygon, click here, click up there, and then click somewhere over here. Hit enter, it doesn't seem to want to, that seemed to work okay. And let's go back into a front view now. And what we're going to do here is same thing, right click, pentapolygon, click on this edge, click here. Oh, it's not going to let me do that, is it? Do that. No, it's not. It's going to be. What about if I click here? here, and here. There we go. Right, I can see the nose is also off centre here, so that needs to be fixed. So let's just go to our vertexes, hold down the X key, and I can snap these into the centre here. And pull these over. I should actually do these off video. It's just I'll just do it up to the bottom of the nose here. So what I want to do here is just create this sort of bit of a box underneath the nose. So I just want to bring these across, extrude the edge. I'm not going to worry about this line too much at the moment. Go to the vertex points here, simply snap them to the centre grid. Snap this one over. And then select the edges here, and select the edges here, and say shift click, right click, bridge. And that's why I always reset my settings, because I don't annoy myself when I have that. So linear, bridge, Q. And yeah, we'll leave that at check. Something weird looking on that nose is. And of course I have to go into the side view to pull this out. So if we just select some of these points here, so this one that seems to have got pushed in a little bit. And of course that's going to need some more geometry in a minute. Now really that's the way to go. I'm going to pause again and then just fill in some of the geometry around the mouth. Again, this is going to be, what we're looking for is loops around it, which I haven't done here, which actually by this extrusion, but what I shouldn't have done is, yeah, these should actually be going around the mouth here with this geometry, so I can get around that one a little bit of, so I need to create all the flow going around here. So what I need to do in actual fact is, let's just get rid of these two. And really the key with this is just doing these edge extrusions, and then you almost can't go wrong because they're all going off. It's just when you have to join them and knowing where to go off. So this is what I need now, and this one is another extrusion. Let's just shrink this one down. So that's what I'm looking for. So they're all going to run parallel off down there. So what I'll do is I'll just position this one up just so you can see what I mean. I think that seems to be snapping to something. Or did it just disappear behind the, let's have a look in the 3D here. Or should I just undo, because I think I just pulled one down on top of itself. There we go, that's better. It can be confusing 3D sometimes. Alright, so that's enough for Eventually we're going to go back and have a look at some of these lines. This is bad geometry. You see there's lines going all over the place. I want to find some sort of rhythm in that, but for the time being I'm just going to block in the rest of the geometry, bring this around, bring in some more geometry, and have a look at that. Okay, so I've blocked in the basic topology here. It's a very rough stage at the moment, so the next phase would be just to go back in and have a look at these lines when I'm getting like kind of funny angles here. Just go back in and change it. I would resist putting in extra lines at this stage. You just want to have a model that looks very kind of clean and nice flowing lines over it. So if I'm looking at my edge flows here around the top and around the mouth, I also have one around the chin, so I'm breaking it down, and then once I've cleaned it up then we'll look at modelling some of the features here, but for now that's the end of this part of the tutorial.